I've been gaming for over 30 years of my life. It's always been my biggest hobby. But the way I've been gaming has not always been the same. And I feel like as we get older and more busy in our real lives and everything, for a lot of people who used to love games, a lot of people might think that they outgrown gaming and they wish they could game, but they're not really feeling it, or just like gaming is not the same anymore. Actively struggling to enjoy gaming in the modern era. And I've been there before. I have definitely hit a very low point in my gaming life during the Xbox One era. I skipped the Wii U. I didn't get that big into 3DS, which is very unlike me with my like past history of like just enjoying video games and like Nintendo and all that, and especially now seeing like getting through that hump, and my revival and interest in all video games is at like my highest point ever. And in retrospect, back in that time, like during that time when I was living it, I felt like I was outgrowing gaming. This was just I was graduating college, and the work was really busy. I thought maybe it was just outgrowing gaming, and like that was it. Like I'm just not that into gaming anymore. Now I can look back at it in retrospect and was like, wow, the Xbox One just actually sucked, and it was one of the worst consoles I've ever played, and that really just like killed my love for gaming at the time. I was so heavily invested in the Xbox 360, 100,000 gamer score on the Xbox 360 before the Xbox One. I thought it was going to be just this next generation, this huge leap, and it was just massively disappointing to the point where like I didn't realize at the time how disappointing the Xbox One was. I thought it was me. I was outgrowing it and everything, and over the course of the years, the ways I've been playing games, like ever since that moment, after like, no longer being like a kid in childhood, no longer being in high school where, you get home and you have all night to play games and all weekend to play games. You start working in the real world, become an adult, have kids, and there's just so much more responsibilities. And it's harder to game the way that you used to game. And I feel like you just have I mean, again, first off, you have to want to play games, right? If you can't, it's not like, oh, I'm here to fix you. Like, you don't like games right now. Like, this is how you fix it. Well, you have to genuinely want to play games, right? And I've always genuinely still wanted to play games. Want to get out of that hump. I remember playing Horizon Zero Dawn on PlayStation 4. Like, I bought a PlayStation 4 because, like, I wasn't satisfied with Xbox One. I had this, like, this is the first time I had a real job, and I had making real money, real expendable income. I bought a PS4 on Black Friday. That's back when consoles used to go on sale. I saw this game Horizon Zero Dawn. It was post-apocalyptic, giant robots. It was really up my alley. And so I picked that up and I was like, you know what? This is a big game. I know games are becoming like 60, 80 hours long. And like I don't have time to play that. Like at that point I was working 60-hour weeks. I had to commute. I lived in an apartment that didn't have like a laundry machine. So I had got to do laundry, go out and get groceries. And I was just like, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm going to sit down and play this game. If all I get's 5 minutes, I can get to one checkpoint, then so be it. I'm going to do that. And I did that. And sometimes I only played for 5 minutes and then like had to be like, I got to go to bed. Other times I was able to start earlier and I was able to get maybe an hour of game time in. Maybe sometimes I should have played only like 10 minutes, but ended up playing like 30 or 40, and not out of like I felt like it was work. I have to do this if I'm ever going to finish this game, just because I genuinely wanted to do it. And that worked. And I realized I do still like games. And that was a huge changing point in my like gaming career. I was in a slump for so long, and that got me to be like, oh wow, I do love video games. But it's hard at the same time, like especially when you get deeper into gaming. Like that was when I was just like almost at nothing, right? I was very comfortable spending months playing this one single game. Now that I'm deeper into it, I'm very like dissatisfied when every game's trying to be 60, 80 hours long, because my game time is less than ever. I talk about on this channel so many times. Me and my wife have this system going on, because we do have kids. And that's not everyone's in that same situation, right? I started out when I was just like after college working 60-hour weeks. I'm not in that same situation anymore. I'm in a different situation. Everybody's in a different situation. But now we had the system going on where it was like, well, after dinner on the evenings, I can spend 15, 30, 45 minutes, however much time we get between after dinner and the bedtime routine, cut it in half. One person watches the kids, the other person gets a bit of hobby time, and then we'll switch. So that could be 15, 20, 30, 45 minutes. I get the time, and then we switch, and that worked for years. Honestly, that's how before I started this channel, I was I was doing that. Now the channel's almost a year old. Like I've been doing that for a couple years, and that was working. And doing having that schedule for a year really got me to just like be flexible and change my mindset. And I've talked about on this channel so many times of how depending on the block of time I get, even if it's 10 or 5 minutes, how to really just figure out how to make that work and get enjoyment and interact with gaming, and for it to not feel forced and not feel like work and not experience burnout and not loving gaming. And a lot of that has to do with the choice of games you're playing, right? If you're only trying to play a big open world modern game that is 60 to 80 hours long, sometimes when you get those small 15-minute sessions, sometimes it can be nice and you just do a side quest and it really fits. Sometimes it doesn't. I know a big example for me was Yakuza. I don't know how to pronounce it. This game, I played this, that was on the channel. I have a video about it. Um, this was the only game in the past year I haven't finished. I got 8 hours into it and I decided to move on from it. Donkey Kong Bonanza coming out was a big contributor, a big reasoning for that. And in hindsight, it's like, well, with the release of Donkey Kong Bonanza, me trying to start a game like this, with the amount of time I get to game before that game came out, I was never going to finish it. It was never going to work out. But a big issue with that, with this one for me, was it was, I feel like I needed an hour sit down session to play this game, or else some of my 15-minute sessions was me just not even cutscenes, right? Like this is like almost like tech. A lot of the cutscenes in this you have to read, and there's no like dialogue or anything. Not that I want every game to seem like a movie, absolutely not. This almost leans more towards like a book, and when it comes to the cutscenes, you're doing a lot of reading to experience the story. And at the time, like again, just your mood shift, right? Sometimes I want that. I like reading books and all that, but at that moment, I wanted something a little more actiony, right? A little more maybe cinematic. And I know what this is now going into it. And to be honest, I think I would really like this game if I go back and revisit it with the right mindset. But this game just didn't align with the time I had. I think that's so important. Is it's not just being flexible with your day and how you're gonna game, whether it's gonna be a little bit before night, if there's a little bit of time after dinner. Can I play a game that fits a 15-minute block of time? It's also your choice of game, right? For the past year, like I haven't been playing multiplayer games. I don't think I would get much out of it, right? It's not necessarily I've outgrown multiplayer. If I was like these big gaming YouTubers who genuinely do YouTube as their job, as their career, and they're able to game 8 hours a day, like 9 to 5 is game time, and I'm gonna make videos for it, or I'm gonna live stream. Yeah, I would probably like really enjoy some multiplayer games. I loved Gears of War and Halo back in the day. Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare. I loved multiplayer games. They just don't fit in my life right now. 15 minutes, I can get a match or two, 3 times a week, maybe. What am I going to do? Try to get to rank 100 for what, right? Like, my schedule doesn't line up with like my friends' schedules, so it's not like I would be like gaming with friends on voice chat catching up. We all have different schedules, right? If you have a schedule where you can connect with your friends and play online a multiplayer game, multiplayer might be perfect for you. It just all depends, like that flexibility. That's another big thing with like retro games. If you miss gaming, like back in the day, those games are probably more accessible than ever, and they're unchanged. There's so many ways to engage with those games, but even still, if you like those games, there's still probably something new in the modern era that would satisfy what you want to play. You just don't know. Like if all you're doing is viewing gaming as as like Elden Ring, which is like a 120-hour really like difficult Souls like game, that game's probably not for you. You have to be in the right mindset for a Souls game. I played Wu Chang Fallen Feathers last year. Got a video on that one too. I love that game. I love the challenge of it. Do I want to play another Souls game right now? Absolutely not. I am not in the right mindset. I'm not in the right schedule right now. I've been playing Pragmata still. Love this game. I love this game so much. I ended up doing like a first impressions video. I usually wait till I beat the game before talking about it, but I had to do a first impressions video because that was a very unique situation for me. Because my mother-in-law came over for a few days. I'm just at the point where like, she's visited a few times before. It was like, okay, we'll visit and like, and talk and visit, like there's company over. And now it's like, well, you can spend time with the kids. I'm gonna recharge my batteries, right? I've experienced now. It's like whatever. I'm gonna do what I can, what like I can't normally do. So over the course of 3 days, I gamed for like 6 hours, and over the course of 3 days, normally I might only get 45 minutes. So 6 hours is huge. I love this game. This brought me right back to Mass Effect 3, right? I got so nostalgic for like Mass Effect 3. That game, I remember playing that over the course of spring break in high school, right? Had a whole week off spring break. I remember playing Mass Effect 3, beating the game, and then immediately playing it again on Legendary Edition difficulty. Playing through it twice, absolutely love that game. And playing this game for those 6 hours on those 3 days, I was like, I love this game. I love that it's a short 10-hour game, just like back in the 360 days. I'm gonna I'm gonna beat this game. I'm gonna replay on hard mode. I'm loving this game so much. And so I didn't beat the game after that. Those 3 days ended. She left, and then you know we're right back to the 15, 30, 45 minutes a day. Except just life changes too, and this turned into like I was barely getting those 15 minutes for a couple of weeks. Something about summer, man. Every corporate job I work, summer's like the most difficult time of the year, and just work's been busy. The kids are growing up. Things are changing. They're not napping as much anymore. We're doing a little more like TV and movies. That's kind of been one of the incentives for like potty training. Like they don't like sweets. We tried the M&M method. That's not working. So we're like, hey, if we did movies like Mario movie and Toy Story. Son really loved Toy Story, probably more than the Mario movie. He's got like a bunch of Pixar like books, and so now he put it together. He's like, oh, are there movies for like Monsters Inc., for Incredibles, for like Ratatouille too? You're like, okay, you know what, if you poop in the potty, we'll watch a Pixar movie, you pick. And so then we ended up watching like Ratatouille and Incredibles, and like I like those movies, right? I love movies. The Pixar movies are great. So just instead of like gaming one night, I'm like, we'll watch this movie together. Watch Ratatouille, we'll watch Incredibles. And I didn't get a game, right? I didn't get a game for 15, 30, 45 minutes. I watched Incredibles. Just another like TV like thing that we've been doing. They really like the zoo, so we've been watching like one episode a week of Planet Earth 2 or Blue Planet 2. It's like one of those BBC animal documentaries. I like that stuff. I bought them on 4K because that's like beautiful on the OLED. We're not watching it down here, we're watching it upstairs. But like, yeah, I love that stuff. Those animal nature documentaries, absolutely. Watch F1 on the weekends when if it's not an off week. So I watch the F1 races during the day. So it's like I'm up there watching F1 instead of coming downstairs and splitting the time. Like I don't want you to just have my wife just watch the kids with F1. I want to watch F1 too. And then Saturday morning cartoons, we started that too, right? Not everything has to be educational or stuff like that. Like we're watching Paw Patrol, right? So we're pushing Paw Patrol, and but not every day, right? That's a little more like it's not educational. It's a little more maybe high engagement or whatever, or high stimulating. So we just Saturday morning cartoons, right? Because Saturday morning cartoons, you guys remember that back in the day with like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Kirby Right Back at You, Sonic X. Yeah, Saturday morning cartoon. We watched like 4 episodes of Paw Patrol. And then, of course, we're not ready to have this conversation, but, we had a weekend out in a hotel. Like, that could have been a disaster. You did really good. We're like, we'll reward you. We'll watch Paw Patrol, the movie, right? There's a Paw Patrol movie. You guys aren't ready to have this conversation, but, yeah, Paw Patrol movie. I think this was better than the Mario Galaxy movie. I mean, even right here, look at 82% critics on Rotten Tomato, 97% audience, right? There's not 3-year-olds going on Rotten Tomatoes reviewing it, right? Like this was actually, I swear, I think this movie might have been better than Mario Galaxy movie. I'm not even kidding. And so what I noticed with all this, the whole point of this is my schedule's been changing, right? After dinner, there's a lot higher chance that we're doing some kind of TV, and I'm not just like dumping in front of the TV. I want to experience that too, and I'm losing my game time. Or we have to go to the store like we normally do. It's summer. I have to mow the lawn. Maybe work's busy. I have to work a little late, and I went a couple weeks. I got maybe like one 15-minute session. I was crawling through the end of Pragmata, right? Just crawling through it, and it was very natural. I was like, maybe something needs to change because I keep talking about me like I'm not getting the game time, but my wife's not getting her hobby time either. And so I'm like, you know what? We're out of balance, right? I was playing games like 15, 30, 45 minutes a night, and that was working. And, if you take 15 minutes times 5, which is like that's like a good week. We're counting weekends there. That's only like what, an hour and 15 minutes per week. 45 minutes, that can bump it up to more like 3 or 4 hours. That's some quick napkin math right there. But not much time. Let's say like 3 hours a week. On a good week is how much that I'm getting to game. Probably less. Like again, 15 minutes, 5 days a week. That's like an hour 15 is how much I'm able to game. So yeah, crawling through the game, and I'm realizing like we're out of balance. We're getting more TVs, so it was fine when I was like an hour to 3 hours of games per week, and then at night we'd wind down after putting the kids to bed and watch TV and movies. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that was kind of like TV show night. Watch some anime. And then on the weekends, we'd watch movies. I pick one, she picks one every weekend. And I still love doing that. But now we're getting more TV and more movies just naturally, like enjoying them like with our kids. And so it's like, all right, well, do we need to watch 2 movies on the weekend? And like also we're like getting in like Incredibles during the week. Like it's out of balance. We're getting more TV and movie time and less game time. So like just natural is like, hey, you know what we should do is a couple nights a week instead of our normal schedule that we've been doing for years now of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, TV nights, and then weekends, movie nights. Let's just be flexible. And depending on how the week goes, maybe we do still do the old style, and after dinner, I go down for 15, 30, 45 minutes, and then you get your time. If we don't get that and we're not getting much hobby time after a few days, let's not go down and watch our TV shows together or watch a movie together. Let's have hobby nights. You spend an hour and a half, do what you want. I'll spend an hour and a half playing a game. And that hour and a half for one single night is almost more time than I had playing 15 minutes a day for multiple days a week, right? I've proven to myself that can work if I get only 15 minutes. Now transitioning to like, hey, a couple nights, an hour and a half of gaming. Oh my gosh. Like it was just such a big change. And yeah, now I actually finished this game. I finished this game last night. Absolutely loved it. And again, I still got to stay flexible. I don't know. Am I going to go start another game? Everything's still busy right now. Life is still busy. So that's another thing in my game selection. Am I going to go for the platinum? I don't know if I'm going to go for the platinum. This game has a post game and it has a hard difficulty. And I still really like the game. I'm still really enjoying the game. When I had that little slump of less time, it's like, oh man, do I not like this game as much as I did? No, I still love this game. I still think this is one of my favorite games of the past couple generations. But the way I was engaging with it was very different. When I was able to play in big bursts, I absolutely loved it. When it went down to 15 minutes, I felt like I was crawling through it. And it wasn't even just 15 minutes a day. It was maybe like 15 minutes for like a week. I was crawling through and I was like, man, do I just want this game to be over so I can move on to the next game? And that's what sucks about games that are 60 to 80 hours long is if you're crawling through it, you feel like it's never going to end and you just want to move on. But I love how this game and like Resident Evil 9, that these are like 10-hour long games, because I finished this game, I think it was like 12 hours long as my final time, because I was doing challenges. You know, that 15 minutes, I was like, I didn't want to leave the hub area of the shelter. That's what they call it in this game, and go out and try to get to the next checkpoint. Because what if I need to log off and I haven't got to the next checkpoint yet? I could just do the challenge mode and quit whenever I want. Do I complete the challenge, or am I stuck on it? I could just quit whenever. So like, I did that for a little bit. And I love the challenges too, by the way. I want to go and finish all the challenges. And so I love how that now that I'm done with the game, spent 12 hours in it, there's still more I can do with the post game, with the hard mode. And I can take this 12-hour game and I can make it a 30-hour game if I want to. It's not a 30-hour game to finish it, but I can get 30 hours out of it if I want to. And I think I'm going to go and start the post. I did start the post game yesterday and I'm like, ooh, okay. Like now that I see what it's about, I think I'm going to keep doing it. But at the same time, like, I don't have to finish it, right? I didn't finish Donkey Kong Bonanza. I mean, I did the first post game, but then there's like multiple post games. Didn't finish that one either. And just like as life's busy, in terms of my game selection, I don't know if I want to start a new game right now and go through a tutorial and learn all these new systems and stuff and crawl through like the beginning of a game. I'm already deep into this one. I still love this game, and just I think maybe I want to keep going a little longer. Maybe I get the platinum. Maybe I don't. Maybe I stop. And I think like the next game I truly want to play is Adventures of Elliot. I got that one pre-ordered and I'm really interested in that game. And so like that comes out in the middle of June. So it's like if I start another game, am I imposing on myself like a deadline where I want to play that game? Also, Star Fox remake's coming out. I definitely want to play that one that comes out in June. So a lot's happening in June that like isn't just gonna go on the shelf and wait for a good time. Like those are ones that are on my radar. And I'm like, those are games I want to play. And so I am in this weird period. I'm thinking about like Mario Tennis on Switch 2. I hear that's only a 4 hour long game for the story. A lot of people don't like that. For me right now, it's like, ooh, that's actually like pretty appetizing. I'm gonna get most of that game, like most of my use out of that game, playing multiplayer with my kids and with my wife, doing like Mario Tennis tournaments, right? So a 4 hour campaign right now, I might actually want to start that, but we'll see. I think I'm gonna hold that out my sleeve and keep playing this a little more until it just until it no longer feels fun. Right now, it still feels fun, especially as I made this shift to possibly having an hour and a half play session at night. Uh, that really changes everything, and I think that's the whole moral of this video is if you are like an adult gamer with a lot of responsibilities, I think you need to be flexible in how you play your games, like when and what you play. Like, are you playing big modern games? Are you playing multiplayer games? Are you playing retro games? Things that can be satisfying in a 15-minute burst. Are you more trying to figure out how to get hour blocks, maybe once a week or twice a week, and then uh, your game choices. Maybe you liked gaming in high school, you don't like gaming anymore, but maybe you've never branched out to different genres of games. And yeah, this isn't like, oh, you need to try different games because like, you're playing the wrong games. Like you shouldn't be playing Elden Ring or Baldur's Gate. Those are too long of games, too hard. You should be playing these like indie games. Indie games are the way. It's do whatever you want, but like don't be too afraid to branch out into other genres. And yeah, I do think I'm gonna like Yakuza Zero when I go back and revisit it. But I did play 8 hours. It's a rare game that I didn't finish, and I know what to expect now. And if the time comes, I think I'm really gonna enjoy this game. But it just didn't fit my style. So it's not that I didn't really like this game. It's I didn't like playing this game with the given parameters of what life, what my schedule was in life. And that's always changing. Like I look back and like I've been in this like 15, 30, 45 minutes after dinner schedule for 2 to 3 years now. And now that's changing. And I think it's always been changing, right? I've never been in the same schedule for like it's not like I've been in the same gaming schedule for like 10 years of my life. Things are always changing. And so yeah, both with like trying to like figure out how that works in your life. If you're too stubborn and you're like I can only play multiplayer games at night for 1 hour, yeah, you're probably gonna fall out of gaming and grow out of your love for gaming. But if you don't try other things, yeah, it might not be gaming. You don't need to game, right? Like it's a luxury hobby, right? Or it's an unessential hobby. You can get a different hobby, and like that's not wrong either. But yeah, no, for people who think they outgrown gaming, I don't really buy that per se. I think maybe you haven't like you might have outgrown your own schedule and your own taste in games, but you might not figure out how to make it work. And you don't need to make it work if you don't want to. You might have outgrown gaming and aren't interested in it. This is really about for people who are like struggling. They want to game, but they're struggling to get games in the adult world. Again, like I make YouTube videos, but I'm not a gaming YouTuber who it's my job and it's like I get to play 8 hours a day. These people who are playing 8 hours a day recommending a game, like Pragmata saying this is great. I played it in a weekend. It was great. It's like, okay, that's cool. If I could play this game in a weekend and had a whole weekend dedicated to this game, I would love it too, right? I got like half of it. Like I did that for 6 hours. I absolutely loved it. But the other side of the coin, being able to play it in a real setting, right? Not this like make believe like gaming YouTuber influencer land that's not real life. Playing it as a real adult, like just normal person. Sometimes with the 15 minutes, sometimes that can drive you crazy. And I think even at 15 minutes, this game is fantastic. The reason it was kind of driving me crazy was because like I had a taste of the other side, right? Of that 6 hours. If I started this game with my normal schedule of 15, 30, 45 minutes sessions and never exceeded that, I would have still been gushing about this game. I still would have been saying I absolutely love this game. But because I had that carrot and it got taken away from me, that really changed my mindset when that happened. It really, like crashed, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm unfairly thinking negative about this game that I love, absolutely love this game." So I don't know. That's all I got for today. What do you guys think? What are your gaming schedules like? Because I always talk about my 15, 30, 45 minutes. I've said that so many times, but like, how big are your play sessions and or your game tastes? Have your game tastes changed over time because of shifting schedules? Or do you get to play 8 hours a day still? Like, that's cool too. All right. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Like if you liked the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.